Welcome to day 5 of Acrylic Painting Challenge Wander with Acrylics. I'm Shweta Iktare. I'm a visual artist, and today we are going to create a beautiful, serene seascape. And today is the 5th day of the Acrylic Painting Challenge. I hope you really enjoyed painting all the artworks of this challenge. If you have, please share it in the comment section and in the Facebook community. It will be my pleasure to check out your pieces. I'm using this flat brush and the white I've actually pre-mixed. It's a mix of white, acrylic medium and water, and I saved it in a different container. It's not required to be created, but if you're interested in learning more about acrylic colors, you can actually download my ebook, which is absolutely free. It has a lot of information about colors and supplies and tips and tricks regarding acrylic paint. Now I'm using ultramarine blue. So right now I have two colors, white and blue, and I'm taking masking tape and putting it in the middle of my paper. I'm not very used to doing a lot of sketching beforehand. If you want to check the reference and do it, you can go ahead and do it. Right now I'm directly doing it. So I starting with the white, creating a base layer of white. I'm putting almost towards 1/3 part of the first half. Since it's white, I'm not sure if it is visible on the video, but it is 2/3 of the first half part. And now I'm making a little bit lighter shade of blue, blue plus white, and putting it. And since my white is wet, it is already blending. Sometimes when you're working on paper, you kind of get an idea how dry your color is getting, and you can add water according to that. There's no one way of doing it. It depends from material to material, color to color. No exact formula. Canvas does require a lot less water compared to the paper. Now I want a little bit sharper blue. So first I'm blending with white. Now I'm adding blue with my white and making comparatively darker shade which I've taken. Now I'm adding it like this. You can see it's dried up. So I'm adding a bit of water. Not too much, very little water. When you are learning, sometimes drying up can be a real problem. The more you work with it, the more understanding you get about how to manipulate the color and how to add water to it. And it's actually not that difficult, it just needs a bit of practice. I do have some tips and tricks in my ebook, you can check that out also. I think it's good enough, the blending is decent. While blending, I have used my brush in one direction only. Now I need darker shade for my C part. Taking out masking tape lightly. It is very satisfying. And here I am creating medium blue, which is sort of half ultramarine plus half white. This brush is very clean. You can see I'm just using edge of my brush to create a clean line. You can also use masking tape once your above part, sky part is dried up and put to create proper line. Now I'm just filling up the background layer. Whenever I feel that it's drying up, I'm adding a bit of water, not too much, just a bit. Then I'm picking up a darker color and making lines like this. It's a little bit random, not to worry too much. And since it's very small paper which we have, I'm not very concerned about exact lines. Just that I'm using uh, the end part of my brush which is very lined properly, and since my background is already a bit wet, it's kind of blending. I don't need to do towards the right hand side because the grass part is going to come there. Now I'm taking darkest blue and very little and putting it on the downward part of the paper. I'm actually going to teach seascape in my course. If you want to learn more about seascapes, you can join in. Okay, here we go. I think this is fine. This is good enough. The idea is not to make a perfect sea. It's it's like you are just making it look like a sea. It need not to be exact. Now I'm taking sap green and making blocking the area for the grass part. Now I added a bit of blue with the green because I wanted thoda sa darker shade. Now the darkest parts are blocked. I added yellow in my green to make a little bit lighter green. Uh, it's not visible on the screen, but I'm liking this color more than before because earlier my green was translucent, and this changes from company to company, color to color. Sometimes it happens that some of the tubes and some of the colors are translucent, so you can manipulate that by adding other colors which are opaque. Now I'm just adding the darkest part of the grasses. Okay, I think this is good enough. Now I can wash my brush and let this part dry. I'm getting back to the light blue shade. When I'm picking white, I making sure that my brush is very clean. I've been careless, but I'm trying to be better at this. I added a bit of blue and we are going to make a sort of gray. So I have black here, I'm putting black and blue and white, and I'm creating an oval, and then while doing highlight part I'll add more detail. Right now just I'm creating an oval. You can also start with sketching out the details of this. I'm very comfortable using my brush directly on the paper. If you are not very comfortable, you can go ahead and draw with your pencil. And now I'm adding lighter shade and it's going to be blended because my base layer is already wet. So you can see the blending happening with the grays and whites. Now getting back to the greens again, I'm going to add little fun details. Mid greens I'm going to create. For that I'm creating a lighter green, adding yellow to my sap green. Not too much, just adding few leaves here and there. You need to have see-through patches in the painting where the background color is there, so the depth is there in the painting. So I'm not covering everything, I'm just putting dots here and there. Oh, I took a lot of color on my brush. Sometimes I get excited and do such things. But when you're working with acrylics, these things you can work around with. I like to concentrate on the shapes, and then I'm going to add details, some dots here, some dots there, curves are visible. See, I'm not filling up all the area, just here and there dots. Now you just need to play around with the lights of the greens. The shapes of the bushes needs to be visible, so just make sure that you are creating shapes around. And you don't need to be exactly like this. The beauty of painting grass is that you will be able to figure out that it's grass. You don't need to paint each and every leaf over. Now I am just putting highlights on the corners, and I'm making sure that I'm creating those curve shapes. It's fun to work with details at times. Here you don't need to check your reference photographs all the time. Till it's looking like a bush, it's good to go. Adding a little bit yellow for more highlights. There's one more thing in the reference photograph, and I'm not feeling like adding that, so I'm just skipping it, which you can definitely do. It's your painting. Nobody is going to compare it with the reference photograph, so you can choose what elements you want, and you can remove some of those and keep those which you really like. Oh, I think I'm almost done with the highlight parts. I'm really liking how the grass is looking. Now I'm taking the darkest shade, just cleaning the patches and the corners, adding leaves. Here, sort of, you have to decide that your painting is done or the grass part is done. That's a decision because we tend to overwork a lot. So, as an artist, you have to decide that okay, now it's done, it's good enough, we need to focus on something else. If you see the darkest part, I've created more than the original photograph here because it felt better in my painting. Now adding white, giving more highlights, and creating gray tone, bit darker gray to make the details. I get too excited at times, so I'm just cleaning up the excess color which I've put on my paper. Yeah, I think it's decent enough. Now I need bit more shade, so I am taking darker shade, very watery color, and blending in. You can see the blend going from left and right. Now adding in details. Now I have to be a bit more careful because there are a lot of lines involved and I am directly doing it with brush. I'm using small brush, which is 1 number brush, but you can use 0. Now adding more details. If you feel that there are too many details with the brush and you're not comfortable, you can always use pen. It can be micron pen or gel pen which you have. You don't need to fuzz over 0 number brush, and it's not like if you don't use brush it won't be a good painting. Okay, so don't worry about it too much. If you are feeling that these are too many details to be done with the brush, go ahead and draw with micron pen. Keep it simple. Just adding diagonal lines. Once this part is done, what I'll do is I'll let it dry a bit, and then I'll take very light brush, very light color, watery color, and it's gray only, and just spreading it across. With micron you can easily do the line work and then do this. Micron is a type of pen, by the way, if you don't know about it. You can use, I think, 0.4 number pen for this. Now I am going ahead adding more details. There's something in the middle part. You can choose to let it go. I think I'll add it. It's just bringing more authenticity to the space, I think. And now, bit more shadow, watery color, so that it keeps translucent finish, and it feels like bit of glass. And I think the details are done. Adding highlights. This is very much the fun part of the painting, where you add highlights and add shadows and play with it. The finishing touches. I added green, uh, a little bit white in the green, and it's showing brightest of greens for the highlight part. I'm just adding the darkest dark. Giving more details. So I'm putting black lines near the gray lines which I have created. I think I'm happy with it. I could have added the other part, but it's fine. This is good enough. Okay, I have to stop at some point. Yes, this is also a very satisfying thing to do. Taking out masking tape to see your full and final painting. Ta-da! And it's done.